Now, I have told him that this club can get pretty saucy and edgy at times. And so with that in mind, I ask that if you have a question or comment that you be respectful, Coach, and ask it that, as the kind of football fan and touchdown club that we aim to be and that we are. And normally Jim Rasco does this big, glowing, great introduction, amazing thing, but we both agreed, let's just give Coach time to get up here and share what's on his mind. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to John L. Smith.
Thank you. Sit down, please. Please, thank you. I did a radio show for 2 years. And you know what? I was the smartest guy in the world. Sure. I didn't make one mistake. No. Every time I come to Little Rock, I become more and more amazed. I mean, just the passion that you people have down here and the support. Just look at this, a positive environment. I mean, my goodness, you're to be complimented. And understand that, you know, when we came in and took this job early on, I made a statement that, understand this, this is not a John L. Smith program. This is not a Bobby Petrino program. This is one program. This is our program. This is the state program. And I'm sticking by that, okay? So again, this is one program, one goal. Our goal is to win a national championship. Now, it doesn't look real good this year, and believe me, the record where it is, we're not satisfied with. You're not satisfied with it. You deserve better. As fans, you deserve better. You're invested more. Our players deserve better. We all are working our tail off to make sure that it is better. So understand that. You know, we're in as much pain as everybody is out there. But all I can say is that this, you know, I take responsibility for that. And I'm going to. And I'm also going to take responsibility for what we do in the future. And I do know this, when we came off that football field this last weekend, we met, we're all disappointed, but we were as positive as we have ever been as a football team. And there was nothing negative on the sideline. Our body language was positive. We believed and we fought till the very end. So I complimented our players on that. You believed, you fought, you battled, you battled, you battled. Bottom line, you have to play good enough to win. And the bottom line is we didn't play good enough to win. So I told them we are one program. Okay? We're not going to splinter. We're not going to point fingers. We're not going to stab somebody in the back. We are going to bind together. And we are going to come to work tomorrow, and we're going to take it one day at a time. And I know that's a cliche, yeah, but we are one day at a time, and we're going to battle and battle and battle and get better until we play good enough to win. And so that football team has taken that to heart. We came out yesterday, we ran, we worked hard, we watched the video, and that's the way we're going to approach it. But I'm asking you as fans, don't give up on those players. Don't give up on us. It's our program. It's a state of Alabama program. It's not one individual's program. Okay? So hang in there. We're all a part of it. Okay? So please don't give up on those guys, and please continue to show your support. Okay? I will say this too, and I don't know maybe who's going to be the head coach in a year, all right? But I want to assure you this, whoever that is, understand that every day we're going to go to work, okay? Just like today. Today's academic day. Those players are going to go to class and do what's right. They're going to go to their tutors. They're not going to be delinquent in any of those fashions. So we're going to do what we have to do academically, and we're going to go to work athletically. And the other thing is that we're going to, We had a verbal list last weekend. As coaches, like I said, I don't know what the future holds, but whoever is there will have a recruiting board that they can work with, okay? And hopefully that recruiting board is completely full of commitments. So understand this, we take it very serious, very responsible, and that's the only thing we know as coaches, is that we're gonna go to work every day, we're gonna be responsible, we're gonna do the very best we can for this program, our program. And let me check my talking points. I think that's about all I wanted to do before I kind of open this up for questions. I know our football team is going to compete. You know, we've got competitors. They're going to go out, they're going to work hard. You saw what Tyler did last week. He came back off of injury and, you know, competed his tail off. So have to pat him on the back, and everybody has to go to the field and continue to do those things. But just like I assure you, we're going to continue to battle, because that's all we know. Because like I told them, we have no other alternative. What is the other alternative? You know, we can point fingers, we can do things, we can take the coward's way out, we can quit. That's not an alternative. That's not, and they said that's not in our vocabulary. Quit is not in our vocabulary. So that's the only alternative we have, is we're going to come to work, we're going to battle, we're going to get better. Let me touch a little bit. I've already touched a little bit on our approach to the season. You know that we're going to work hard as we can, every day that we can. Okay? Talk a little bit about A&M. Awful good football team. You know, they only scored 70 last week. So they can throw it around. They're very talented at wideouts, very skilled in the backfield. As I look at them, the quarterback is special. He can make things happen. He's a tremendous runner. Plus, he can throw the ball. They spread it around and they throw it. So offensively, they're very good. Defensively, as I look at them, you know, their strength is probably their front on defense. They sit in a four-man front. They will give you some 3 down at times, but that's their strength. And special teams wise, they're kind of they don't do a lot of special things. They're kind of vanilla there. They just do a standard, very sound, well coached football team. So we have to do a good job in going down there. All I can say is that I'll open this up for some questions. But again, I want to, please don't give up on our players and hang in there and, okay?
Coach,
we're one. Yes.
You accidentally said Alabama. You said the state of Alabama. You meant the state of Arkansas.
Oh.
You misspoke. Just you.
I did?
Yes. That's what everybody. You just sort of slip of the tongue.
Where would that come from? I've never even heard of Alabama.
First question. Yes, Clint.
Coach, we're all just fans, and we appreciate
Yes, sir.
you coming here today. Help us understand some things better, and all of us see, maybe you don't share this opinion, some weaknesses there in offensive line and maybe secondary and linebacker.
Right.
In your opinion, is that more a recruiting issue where maybe some of the players we had weren't as good, or is that kids that just haven't learned to execute?
Okay, I think it's a combination thereof, to be honest with you. Number one, it all comes down to recruiting. Recruiting is our lifeblood, and you have to do it yearly. And you have to continue, of course, to make sure that you're recruiting a class that is an SEC caliber class. And, to be honest with you, this last year's class, in the years that I've been at Arkansas, where did that come from? No, that this last year's class is the best class that we've recruited since I've been there. So it's upgrading, it's getting better. Is it where it should be? Not by any means yet. So, and then I think it comes back to there is some problems there. We knew going in that the secondary, we had very little depth. Okay, linebacker, we have very little depth. So those are the two positions that you cannot lose a guy. You cannot get hurt. And you know, sure enough, those are the two positions that you end up losing some guys. So bringing in new guys into that mix that are maybe not ready to play yet, so there's growing pains there as well. So they haven't learned quite yet. And they're going to get better. Yeah, we know that we're thin in spots. And those spots you can't afford to lose a guy, just like offensive line. You know, we know we're thin offensive line, and then you lose a Deacon last week, and that hurts you. So our consistency is not what it should be. Because you lose a Tyler, you lose guys along the way. But again, that's not excuses. We've just got to become more consistent and have to play well enough and good enough to win. A good question. Yes, sir.
Thank you. A couple real quick questions.
Yes, sir.
One, since you only need to average 3 to 3 infinity to get a first down when you bring down 10 yards, Dennis Johnson averaged about twice that last week. Can we expect him to run the ball more Saturday? And also, where do you think Robbie Petrino will end up? Will he be at Kentucky or Auburn?
Kentucky or Auburn? I don't know that Kentucky might be in there. Auburn probably is a better guess if I were to guess, to be perfectly honest with you. But Dennis Johnson, one young man last week that had I tell you what, I put my arm around him and gave him a hug. I said, "This is the best that you have been, Dennis. Your body language was awesome. You were positive. You were in the box. You were encouraging other people. You were doing what a senior does and what you should do. And let's build on that." So he had a great day and is going to continue to run the ball better and more. I'll just leave it kind of at that. So, good question. Yes?
What's the health status of Tevin Mitchell and Kiro Small?
Very good question. Kiro Small is out for the year. You know, he's done, as is Walker, you know, and it's sad. I guess the positive is you have to look at he has a redshirt year. He can come back. He can be with us again next year. So you have to look at that. But Kiro's done. Tevin Mitchell, we had him out on the bike yesterday. He's working now. He's starting to do cardio work. So that is a positive. How long it's going to be, I can't tell you. But we definitely miss him and need him. And hopefully he'll be back right away. So, and Chris, Greg, I'll just comment a little bit. You know, he's got a deep, I believe it's a bone bruise, so he's kind of day to day. We don't know how he's going to be this week. So, yes, sir.
Were our expectations just simply unrealistic this year?
Were our expectations unrealistic this year? Yours. Yours were unrealistic. Other questions? Yes.
Before you got to Arkansas, where was your favorite place to coach?
Before I got to Arkansas, my favorite place to coach, it really kind of has been wherever I have been. You know, and I'm a big believer, the big time is where you're at. You know, I really believe that. And I know when I was at 1AA school, I loved it. The reason you get into coaching is for the young men. You know, to put your own, maybe make a difference in a young man's life. So I think you can do that wherever you are. So favorite as far as that goes, as long as you're doing that, it's favorite. Every day's a good day. Now, favorite place to live? Right now, my wife thinks Arkansas is not Alabama. Thinks Arkansas is the best place to live. She thinks, boy, wouldn't it be nice we retire here? This place is wonderful. The weather's great. But to be honest with you, to answer that question as far as just a physical place, I need a mountain high about once a year at least. So we love it here right now, but we love it everywhere we've been.
How long have you been married?
How long have I been married? Oh, God.
Get it right. Get it right.
Let me see, I have to get this right. Let me see, 40, I got married in 70, so that makes it 42 years. And God bless her, because coaches' wives are special, special, special people, and you coaches can agree with that. I mean, if they're not independent and they're not able to raise your family and your kids, and you look back someday and you say, gosh, I wasn't there for any of that. I was raising all these other kids. And that's kind of the way you are as a coach, but that's the life. So coaches' wives, God bless coaches' wives. Yes, sir.
Our defense,
Yes, sir.
it seems kind of obvious over 3 or 4 years, we can't cover anybody man-to-man. Why don't you try to play zone and turn them people around
Well,
where they know where the ball is?
I've actually have played a lot more zone this year than we have man-to-man.
We don't know where the ball is, that's just.
Well, we're trying, yeah. That is true, and then playing them close enough to make sure that we make a play has been a factor for us as well. Yeah, instead of just playing giveaway. Yes, sir.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
what's the game plan for A&M?
Hey,
Without giving away anything that's top secret.
without giving away anything, how can you ask that without giving away anything? Win. That's a game plan. That's the one. We're there till, as a staff last night until, 10, 11 o'clock, whatever the case, and win was definitely on our mind and is on the players' minds. But again, consistency is, we have to become more consistent, to be honest with you. And I think our players understand that. You just have to play well enough to win. You can go back, and again, you can take a look at this game, and I sound like a broken record. You can pick out a play here, a play there, a play here. If we make that play, we win the ball game. If we get the safety, we have 2 points, we have the ball back. Now we have a lot of things, but let's not pick any of that. Let's just look forward and say, let's go to the practice field tomorrow. And I'm a big believer, you get better, you get worse. And you don't stay the same in anything that you do. We have to go get better. And our kids are going to do that. They're going to battle. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Besides the obvious, who are the leaders on the team, in your mind?
Don't get that? Who are the leaders on the team besides the obvious? Well, definitely Tyler is, and that's obvious. He's a spokesman for us, and he stands out in front and does that. The other leaders, and we try to encourage everybody to be leaders. I'm a big believer that your seniors have to take control. They have to take ownership. They have to be the ones in charge. And along with that, we try to tell our guys, you don't have to be a senior to be a leader, and we like to identify in each class who those guys are and kind of, if you hate the word pigeonhole, kind of push them, let's say, in that direction. But other than Tyler, you take a look at the defensive side, I think Alfred Davis is a leader over there and has done a great job. Tank hasn't been as effective on the field as you would like, so it seems like he's taken a little bit of a back role. But he is a leader. We keep encouraging him to go out there and lead and push those guys. But we always are encouraging more vocal. So those would be the ones I would pick out right off the bat. Other questions? Yes, sir.
I watch an awful lot of games, whether it's live or on television, and I'm obsessed with watching the game clock. And there's so many mistakes for years being made. An incomplete pass, a touchdown, a penalty. The person in charge of the time clock waits 4 to 5 seconds. A lot of times in the course of the game before they stop the game clock, which at the end of a game can literally add up to about 2 minutes.
Right.
And the single worst example that I saw in my life was years ago, a Razorback game where the Razorback beat someone bad, so it didn't matter. But a game that comes down to 1 or 2 touchdowns, I don't understand how this has been going on for years to this day.
I think this, and I don't want to make any false statements or anything, but there's always been a concern over the last few years about speeding the game up, and getting it over with, and we go too many plays, and it's too long, and we got to get the fans out, and all of that. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying about, speeding the game up and taking some time off the clock, and I'm sure that does happen a little bit.
I want the game to go slower. I want somebody to get that job.
Well, yeah, as an old coach, I'm old school, and I'm a big believer they mess too much with the rules as it is. Leave it the way it was, and But again, they've changed everything, and that's just part of the process. It's an evolution. It's a cyclical game. So, yes, sir.
A couple weeks ago, I was at Warren, watching Warren Classic Academy fly. And 3 different times the receiver was trying to catch the ball. Was defenseless. And Hunter Henry was one of the guys. They just,
Right.
head knocked him out.
Right.
We had several players that game. Chris Gregg, he was catching the football.
Right.
Do you think that should have been unsportsmanlike conduct for hitting a defensive player in the helmet, or in this case, on the knee?
Okay, as the rules state in the helmet, yes. A head-to-head, yes. And I thought we maybe should have had a head-to-head call at one point in that game, but you have to understand, nothing against the officials, but they were Big East.
At least they weren't NFLs.
Do I think Chris Gregg, that should have been a penalty? No. No, that's, again, and that guy's gonna go low because he knows that he's probably a mismatch if he takes on Chris up high. So I guess as a little guy, you have to hit him low. But head-to-head, yeah, that's definitely a rule that they have to try to enforce and are doing a better job.
Coach, let me ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Looking back now, the premise for your hiring, obviously coming back in a difficult situation.
Right.
Was the 10-month arrangement, was that something that you feel, might have somehow impeded you or has affected you at all this season in your ability to coach?
I don't think so, without a doubt. I really don't. I knew my charge, if I might say, in coming in here. Okay, to keep the offense going, keep the defense going, keep the coaches on board, keep the players on board, try to pull the ship together and make sure it sails right. So I knew that coming in, and that's the way it has been. And we're going to do everything right. So like I said, I'm assuming I'm going to be here for my lifetime. And that's the way I approach every day. And we're going to do the academics right. We're going to do the athletics right. We're going to preach and coach as hard as we can. So I knew that coming in, and I don't think that has had any effect.
One follow-up on the expectation question too. Do you think in this day and age where we have, radio shows and talk shows and nonstop and magazines, do you think that high expectation could have affected this team, or maybe that was off base? And you're a lot of pressure, obviously I think the response of fans might be a little different if we maybe had been preseason top 25 or 20th and not number 8 and expected maybe challenge for a national championship.
Right. And again, I don't get involved in much of the preseason and the hype and where they pick and all that stuff. I could it have been different? Might it have been different? Yes. Should definitely take a look, the depth factor and a few things, but I believe this. The higher your expectations are, the better it is. And as a football team, that's what we expect from our guys. We have high expectations. So your high expectations of us, I don't think you can say they're unfair. No, they're not. We should expect to do better. We should expect to have to do better. So I'm a big believer in high expectations.
How do you, in this situation, Coach, obviously the season hadn't gone according to plan, and obviously with your contract, how do you handle the recruiting and trying to get kids to come to Arkansas under those circumstances?
Very good point. And what we try to do is get out and sell it, just like we talked here. Okay, you're not committing to me. You're not committing to an individual. You're not committing to these coaches. You're committing to this university and to this program. And it is one program. If you think, okay, take a look at what we have here. Take a look at what is coming. And if you can't buy into that, then don't commit. And we have a lot of commits. And we're going to continue to recruit that way. And like I said, I have no idea, but hopefully that board will be completely full. And then we can do whatever.
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Coach, we're all Monday morning quarterbacks. We always think we can call better plays, but
Sure.
we felt for a long time we had a lot of talent on our offense, a lot of capability there. You go back and look at what happened in the second quarter. We have 4 3-and-outs,
Right.
no first downs. We seem to be running the same plays with the same personnel. A lot of names like Wingo and others that we never hear about anymore. You never see Wingo come out of the backfield for a pass. Where is our innovative offense and not just get into a routine? The last half of the game, Tyler was back there throwing passes all the time. He looked like only to Kobe. You know, it just looks to me like we aren't using
Our
all the
personnel
talent
spreading it
that we
around. Well,
have.
believe me, it's not within the plan that we do that. Again, comes down to our ability to be more consistent, you know, and I look at that as far as throwing the ball. You know, the biggest mistake I look at myself as far as this last game was maybe I made a mistake in coming away with no points. If you'll remember, it's 3rd and 1, and we have 2 running plays to try and get it a first down, and we get away with no points. So I kicked myself for that, because you look back, and hindsight is 20/20, and say that, my goodness, had we come away with some points there, that could have been huge. But I'm thinking that we can run it for a yard. And with our running backs, we probably should be. But again, they need some help. There's got to be some help up front. So as far as our innovation goes, we're trying to get consistency maybe before we get too innovative here, I guess.
Coach, could you also,
Yes.
too, could you address a lot of national talk, national exposure about Tyler Wilson and the talk he gave, the speech he gave after the
Again,
Bama game?
yeah.
Just maybe how that's developed since that point with the rest of the team. And also, speaking of Tyler, you're concerned with the deficiencies in the offensive line, his safety for the rest of the season.
Is that me?
Turn that one off, David, there.
Okay,
David.
there we go. Okay, now if I can get all of that, Tyler, and
Just about how that's developed since there was a lot of national
Right.
talk about whether and how that's worked with the locker room and the players, and then his safety for the rest of the year and ability to protect him.
Right, okay, as far as Tyler saying that, you know, I think there were probably a kid or two on the team that took a little bit of offense at that, because he didn't play that game, and then all of a sudden he's saying, the way I took that, and this is the way I approached the team with that, was understand, he's only saying that you'll be accountable, and that you'll be accountable, and that you'll be accountable, and that we'll all be accountable. Okay, he's not calling out an individual saying that, you know, they quit. He's calling out us all to be accountable and to do our jobs. And that's the way, I guess I might say that I interpreted that to the team. And I really believe that that's what Tyler was saying, that we're all going to be accountable, and which we all have to do.
And being able to protect him.
Being able to protect Tyler, that's a task. It's always a task. But, you know, he made a mistake, if you saw this last week, and got hit the first play. Okay? That's not necessarily the O-line's fault. Okay? Tyler has to take responsibility for that as well, in which he did, and said, I made a mistake. I look over here and I don't get myself protected. So, the ability to protect Tyler is not only on the offensive front and the running backs. Our running backs have to do a better job of blocking and protecting. So we're really hitting them on that as well. But it's always a concern to protect your quarterback. In fact, I'm on the officials every other play about protect the quarterback. So, good point. Yes, sir.
Do you still feel that it was the right thing to do to keep Niall Davis out of full contact?
I do, because it's over. You know, I guess. In hindsight, would you had rather put him out there and maybe, if we put him out there and we bang him and we lose him for the year in practice, you're all going to be shooting me for that as well, right? So, I mean, you're darned if you do and if you're darned if you don't. So that's kind of the case. And is Niall getting better? I think he's not there mentally yet, and has to continue to improve, in which he will. And that's where a guy like Dennis Johnson, I love that guy. To see him should see more of him.
Couple more questions.
Couple more. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question, I do have a comment.
You do have a comment?
Yes, sir.
I hope it's a positive one, isn't it?
You bet. You bet it is. Number one, thank you for loving our boys.
I do love those boys.
You do. And
Yes.
I love you. The
And
ones that I met love
they love me some of the time.
you. Okay. That was your negative, not mine.
That was my negative. You're exactly right.
We have, our fan base has been awesome this year.
They have.
Awesome.
That,
And there's,
can I comment?
sure.
Last week's game, you talk about how positive our team was and how they hung in there, how they believed until the very end that we're going to win that game. Our fans were the same. Our fans hung in there. They're believing right up till the very end that we're going to win that game. And that passion, our fans are the best.
We've had some great things happen this year.
Yes.
We didn't lose a player since spring. We didn't lose an assistant coach since spring.
Right.
We sold more season tickets than ever. We had more at the red-white game in the history of the University of
Right.
Arkansas.
More.
And at the touchdown luncheon, it was the biggest crowd ever. Your fan base has been there. We need to stay till the end.
Exactly. And that's exactly the point. Did y'all hear that? Here. Repeat that. Repeat that. Yeah, that was really good. I was going to say the same thing.
Move right over here. That thing's buzzing.
Yeah, it's that mic.
Okay.
All right. We all have to hang together. We didn't, let me repeat it. We didn't lose a coach. We didn't lose a player in the spring. Our red and white game was sold out as much as it has ever been, more than it has ever been, the biggest it has ever been. Our quarterback club is the best it's ever been. The most people over there. Our fans are the best. And they're on board and they believe. And we have to continue to believe. That's what you said, right? Yeah. So that's exactly what I was going to say. I know it hurts. Believe me, I know it hurts, but don't show anybody it hurts. Okay? Let's be positive. Continue to roll. Any other questions? If not, I'll sit down. One more.
More questions.
A lot of puppies, yes.
You want to comment on any of the
Yeah, I do. Like I said, this freshman class is really a quality group. Like I said, the best group since I've been at Arkansas. D lineman, maybe I should comment on it. Dietrich Weiss is going to be a great player. He's got a unique pass rush to him. He's got a big, tall, long frame. He's going to be something special. Okay? Winston. Jermichael Winston is the same way. In fact, Jermichael's in a situation where he's physical enough maybe to start to play right now and could play right now. So there's a couple ends in there. Phylon was the question. Phylon is physical enough. Does he need some maturing? A little bit, yes. Okay, but he's a good 300-pound kid that is going to be a player. Now, the ones that you see out there, of course, are, well, and you don't see Boyd on the other side. Cordell Boyd, offensive lineman, he's going to be a good football player. He's just an offensive line and usually a defensive line. That's a maturity factor. A red shirt normally has to take place because you're not dealing with God's gift of run, jump, catch. You're dealing with getting bigger, getting stronger, getting more physical, getting technique and learning technique. So those guys are, of course, further away. But he's going to be a good player as well. But the freshman skill guys, Jonathan Williams, he's going to be the real deal at running back. And you take a look at the wide receivers. You have McHale. He's playing right now. McKay, of course. You have Cowan. You have Hatcher. All good players. Very, very good players at the wide receiver. And we have to rely on some of those wide receivers. On the other side of the ball, right now out there playing are Otha Peters and is Turner, A.J. Turner. Both of those guys are out there playing right now. So you have to rely on those guys, as is a Hines. Again, pushed into the battle before you'd like it, but there's going to be a positive down the road. Hines is playing right now, as is Nate Holmes. And Nate has to catch the punt returns, but you're asking a lot of a freshman coming in and being asked to go out in SEC games and be the punt return guy and show that kind of courage, you know, with those guys barreling down on you, catching the football. But Nate is going to be outstanding. By the way, we've taken him from running back and moved him to corner, and he has great speed and great length, and actually, you know, I think he can hold together and be a corner where he might get broken being a running back. So that's just a few of them that, you know, they're good players, great young men. We love them. Okay, I got to wrap it up. I want to say thank you to you all. And again, like I said, we're going to go to work every day. We're going to do the darn best we can. And please don't give up on these guys. But we thank you for your fan support. You guys are the best. Thank you.
John L. Smith. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Next week, we have Willie Rowe, new NFL Hall of Famer. 50-yard line members, if you want to come and get your picture real quick with Coach, come on up.